because then it puts so much more importance on how do the senses perceive this, rather than just like, okay, this looks good in a picture, but everything feels like itchy and doesn't feel good, and it has a weird off-gassing smell. So that's why we're bringing the 5 senses in. Hello, lovely. Welcome back. I hope you've had a great week. It is trying to be spring here in New York, but it's still a little chilly. But anyway, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Christina DiStefano. Today, I'm giving you my decorating tips to make a more unique and luxurious home. Like if I am in a room and like things are just right, which we're gonna get to, but you can be in that room and you could just feel like the most beautiful person in the world because the room just makes you feel so good. Do you know that feeling? That's what we're creating today. Just in time for spring. I am framing this around the 5 senses because that is one thing that luxurious hotels do. They understand that in order for you to have a great experience at the hotel, then they must consider all 5 of your senses while you stay. It literally creates the mood before you even enter the room. In fact, your whole home should have a fragrance of its own. So that way, as soon as you enter or your guests enter, you're enveloped by the luxury of this smell. I like fragrances that are a little moody. So I'll pick something that has maybe musk, like wood notes, like cedar. I also like leather, smoke, or fig is also really nice. I do kind of gravitate to those fragrances all year long. I just feel as though they are very luxurious. I do change up the fragrance a bit, but Zara Home has a candle that I absolutely love, Basilium. It is a mixture of mint and basil, and it is freaking divine. Actually, I have one right here. Hold on, let me grab that. Okay, any day now. This candle is huge. It's so well made. The glass is really thick. This was $49.90. Oh my God, it smells so good. I wish I could share this smell with you. This is a good one for the warmer months. It's very summery. I love it.
If you have a candle and the wick has burned down, yet you have a bunch of wax left over, try this little hack. Take a coffee mug warmer and just place your candle on top of it. You're gonna get the same level of fragrance output that you would with the burning candle.
Another one that I like that is worth an investment. It's a little pricier. It's Aesop. I think it's about, can't remember, but I'll link it below. But their room fragrance is really nice. And the thing about it is, even though it's a little expensive, you really, literally, 3 sprays, psh, 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 psh. It envelops the room. So a little goes a long way with that. It's very concentrated. You know, things like candles and diffusers and room sprays just really make a big difference. It's a small investment for kind of the aromatherapy that it gives you. Touch. So working with texture. This is so important. I love to mix it up. I do have one streamlined fabric that you'll see throughout the home, and that is linen.
I think I have linen in every single room. It is my favorite fabric to use in our home.
And I do believe that you can use linen all year long. I just think it depends on what you mix it with. And I do like to layer linens and mix it in with things like bouclés or a tweed or velvet or a nice brushed cotton. So things like that. So you'll want to think in terms of textures for touch. Textures for touch. Textures, touch. It not only creates a visual experience when you're thinking about texture, but it also invites touch. And that's what we want. We want to use that sense. We want to feel like, oh, I must sit on that sofa, or I must go up and touch those beautiful drapes, or I must touch this pillow. That's what we're creating. We're just creating this whole sensual type of experience. If you have a space that is too empty, it could feel cold. If you have a space with too many things, it could feel like the walls are closing in on you. We've talked about curated restraint. This is a skill that is developed to curate your home in a way that is thoughtful and meaningful, where each piece is taken into consideration and carefully chosen. Consider what is needed to effectively communicate your style or your home story. Continuing with sight, I want to talk to you about generic artwork. There is definitely a difference between this and this. Here are the usual suspects that will keep you from having that luxurious look in your home.
I think we can all pick out an Etsy digital download piece of art by now. Same kind of goes with home goods. Also these chains, they sell them everywhere from Target to H&M Home. They're just not unique and they're just not as special as you are. I also want to get rid of these vases and these sculptures, things like that. They're actually kind of expensive for what you're getting. It's a cheap piece of art that's going to go out of style. I'd rather see you spend your money on something that's more meaningful than something that's just going to go, in the trash or off to the thrift store when you're done.
Instead, opt for a very curated selection of items purchased secondhand. Combine these with new items that complement the old.
I can't imagine decorating our home with only new things. I really love to focus on mixing secondhand unique finds with new pieces.
If you need guidance on how to do this, definitely check out Vintage Decor Done Right after this video. Don't forget about mixing up scale and proportion. This is going to give you a more up-level look in your home rather than having all your objects and pieces of the same visual weight or the same size. You want to mix it up to create more visual interest. It's kind of like the cityscape behind me. You want your things to be large and small, skinny and bigger. You want a variety of shapes and sizes, so it's a little more interesting to the eye. Also consider this with furniture. So if we're talking about furniture with legs or furniture without legs, ideally what you want to do is you want to have a combination of both to balance that out. But also be mindful if you're mixing things with different legs that at least the woods are of the same warmth or they're cool and the metals are the same types of metals, that those pieces carry the same kind of feeling. Otherwise, they're going to look a little mismatched. That detail will keep you from having a luxurious look. And you're working so hard. I want that for you. I just feel that a drape is much more luxurious than, say, a Roman shade. But a Roman shade is a great option if like a long drape is not possible. You don't want to make drapes work where they don't fit. A drape is not a solution to every window. Let's just put it that way. So different types of drapes, different types of window treatments are needed for different types of windows.
These look unfinished. There's a huge gap between the top of the window and where the curtain rod begins. You want to add a sheer to this to fill it in if you've got a big gap there, or put a valance for a finished look. It's really important to top that off. When it comes to a bay window, it might be easiest to use a Roman shade because I really think it's tough to do drapes on a bay window. Ideally, I would actually put the drapes outside of the bay area. I just think it makes a nice little moment in that little nook.
Those are little details that if you don't do it properly, it just makes it look, I don't want to say it cheapens it, but you just, like, everything you've put into it, it's like that one thing can kind of throw off the whole feeling, because the way that you hang your drapes will either make your ceiling look taller or just bring it down and make it feel shorter. So, the goal is to have a higher ceiling, or to give that feeling of like breathing room, in the space. And so you want your window treatments to work for you in that way. I have a thing about overhead lighting. The only time I think you should use overhead lighting is when you are cleaning. There are exceptions. If you have that overhead lighting on a dimmer and you have an interesting kind of chandelier there, then by all means, use that too. I just think in general, the overhead light is it tends to be too harsh. It's just not flattering. No one wants to be in that light. Don't put your friends in that light, and don't put yourself in that light. Go for a warm light. Put things on a dimmer if possible. Put warm lights in your lamps, like the one I have right here. Let me see if I can turn this. Like this lamp here. It just, now I'm going to mess up my tripod. It just makes all the difference in creating that ambiance. Candlelight can really create a mood. It just feels sensual. It just feels like a special occasion when a candle is lit. So light those candles and create that beautiful, flattering light. I mean, who doesn't look good in candlelight? Everybody looks good in candlelight. Another little detail, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I feel like you probably heard this, but I don't want to leave it out because it's very important, is just a size appropriate rug in your living room. I see it all the time. I see people with rugs that are too small for the living room. You want to get the biggest rug you could possibly afford that is size appropriate to the room, meaning you don't want it to overcrowd the room. Each space is unique, but you do want to have some room on the sides where you're actually seeing the floor, unless you're trying to hide your floors. But the rule of thumb is you want all of the pieces of furniture in the setting. So the sofa, the accent chairs, the coffee table, the cocktail tables, the end tables, all those things should ideally fit on the rug. If you can buy a rug big enough to do that, that's the ideal. If not, then you want at least the front feet of the chairs and the sofa to be on that rug. But what you don't want is a small, tiny little rug just for your coffee table. That is a no-no. You've got to think in terms of a luxury rug as well. So what is the material that it's made of? I know, sorry about the subway again. I know the organic modern look is really in, and this jute rug is really in, and I've been into jute rugs for a very long time. But I will say that switching over to like a soft woolly rug in our living room just gives it a different feeling. It just feels so much more luxurious when you step on it with your bare foot. Those are the little details, that just make your experience just feel so much better. It's these little things that really make a big difference, because those senses, and this is what I think, like sometimes you'll look at interior design examples or people talking about interior design and what you need to incorporate. But I think it's really important that you understand that the reason why you should incorporate those things, because then it puts so much more importance on how do the senses perceive this, rather than just like, okay, this looks good in a picture, but everything feels like itchy and doesn't feel good, and it has a weird off-gassing smell. So that's why we're bringing the 5 senses in. Music is essential to creating ambiance in your home. Consider the mood to determine the appropriate playlist. I really like Neon Chill on Amazon Music. It's my favorite. I also really love Rendezvous Pop. The fashion label The Row has really eclectic, really good playlists on Spotify that you can listen to for free. I love hearing new things and getting suggestions from people. So definitely share those with me in the comments, like your favorite mood music. Okay, so this one isn't technically interior design or decor based, but one of the things that feels so luxurious is the art of hospitality. When your guests arrive, what do? Do you offer them a beverage? Do you bring out some snacks? It's very customary in cultures many cultures actually, when someone arrives at your home, that you present them with some little nibbles. So keep things like nuts, dried fruits, little crackers, breadsticks, like little things like that you can have on hand. So when your guest arrives, you can offer them little nibbles. Even if they're not hungry, it's about the gesture of offering them something. I do believe that home is a very sacred space. It is where everything begins in our life, and it is so vital that our homes are a reflection of who we are. It's for our confidence, it's for our well-being. And so my mission here on this channel is to help equip you with the things that you need to know in order to make your home your sacred and just wonderful place. So I had to relocate. Hopefully it doesn't look too much like a plant is coming out of my head, but the sun came out, and so it was just like shining too much in my eyes. Anyway, what I wanted to tell you is that for the month of April, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be going live on YouTube. So on that live, what I plan to do is answer your interior design questions. But how will I know your questions? Well, some of you have reached out to me already, but what you'll need to do is you'll need to go to Instagram at Christina DiStefano Studio and DM me a summary of your design issue, and then send any pictures that would support, like if you have a design dilemma, and I will help you. I hope that you will join me. And on that note, sending you so much love from New York. Mwah.